This meeting is being recorded. Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to Heart is a Compass Radio with your host, Paige Lucier Johnson. Today's special guest is Elena Swan, and I'm so happy to have her here. For those of you that have been following me for quite some time, I started my radio show in 2005 on Blog Talk Radio. But now as technology has changed, we've moved to a Zoom interview series. So this is very exciting. Heart is a Compass Radio interviews artists and healers and people who follow their heart as a compass. In this world, so many of us feel lost and we wonder, how do they do it? And so all my life, I've always gravitated towards beautiful, bright souls and wanting to know their story. And as I've been collecting their stories, I realized the rest of the world needed to hear them as well. Today, our special guest, Elena Swan, I'd like to introduce her to come on screen so we can interview her today on Heart is a Compass Radio.
Hello.
Hello and welcome. So,
Thank you.
So honored to have you here. And just a little backstory for those that are watching this either live or on the replay. I met this beautiful soul. I think our paths have crossed streams many times over the last few decades of our lives because we have so many synchronicities and connections. But it was one of those Facebook moments where we connected on someone was selling something on Facebook and we started chatting because we both wanted the same item. And who knows, next thing we're having coffee and realizing that we're soul sisters. And that's the way of the world.
Yay!
Yeah, so one thing that I loved when I first met Elena was her energy, her vibrancy, and her story. I was like, oh, this is a beautiful story. So Elena, please tell us a little bit about you and how you get to the now moment that makes you who the wonderful being you are.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I grew up in Long Island in a big Italian family, and things were never quiet there, that's for sure. There were a lot of us all the time. And I had dreams to be on Broadway. So I went to NYU and I got my degree and I went down to Virginia and I did some summer stock and I came back and I said, well, I want to move to London so that I could be a big star on the West End, and then I'll move to Broadway and I'll be a star there too. And during that time, I realized that there was more than just this world that I was in. There was another world. And I was really into dream interpretation and astrology through college and high school. And it just kept kind of pulling me in until I had my psychic break, I call it. And that was in 2006. And one of the psychics that I went to, he opened me up and I started seeing, hearing, and feeling spirit standing in front of me. My grandmother, who I always knew was my guardian angel, but she validated that day, she was there. So I saw her and felt her immediately. She came home with me. She was hugging me, and I never met her because she actually passed when my dad was a kid. And we always had this really strong connection. She was a singer. I'm a singer, kind of like the only singers in the family. And it was just this immediate connection. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I got myself into meditation classes and honed those skills so that I could realize what was going on. And I thought that I was just going to heal myself and, figure out my own life. And meditation was becoming my therapy. And I loved it. And then I had a terrible car accident and my ankle came out of my leg and I almost died that night. And all of my dreams of being on stage and traveling and walking across the stage in heels, that was gone in an instant. And all of my psychic gifts went that night. And I was giving readings to perfect strangers, which I never did before. And they were like, how do you know this? And for the first time I said it, I was like, I'm psychic. And I believed it. And it was true to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am. And then it was that year that I had more time because I wasn't, hoofing it in New York City trying to make it as an actress and also waitressing because, that's what you do. And I had all this time and I took a intuitive development course. I learned angel cards for the first time. It's actually this deck right here. I still use it today. Oh, look at that. Answer prayer just came up right away.
Aww.
And this deck, it taught me so much about me. And someone said, how much do I owe you when I was practicing the reading? And I was like, what? You don't have to pay me. We're practicing here. I'm not really this, I don't have a business. And she was like, no, I'm going to pay you. I said, okay. And I went home and I told my dad, who has been an entrepreneur his whole life. And he said, well, now you have a business. Let's sit down and get a name. Just like that. Just like an Italian dad, from Long Island, always just right there for you. And I said, okay. And he said, well, Elena, what do you do? And I said, I connect people. I don't just connect people with heaven, but I'm really good at connecting people with people, Daddy. And he said, connections with Elena. And I said, I love it. And it stuck. And that's it. And that was 13 years ago. And since then, I have been able to help, I don't even know, well over 1,000 people, in person or online or what have you. And I do lots of vendor events, and I'll do like 20 readings at a vendor event easily, because it's just, this is who I am. It's not just what I do, it's who I am. And I'm so blessed that I got to have so many gifts that a couple of gifts had to go away, and all of these new gifts appeared that were just kind of dormant. And I love my life, Paige. I just love it. So thanks for letting me share.
And so many. I have some questions because I know your story and we connect. But listening to it, I'm going to ask you, what does it mean that someone opened you up?
Okay. So this man, he said, you're open, you're closed, you're open, you're closed. What do you want to do? I said, be open. And he said, okay. And so we did some deep breathing, and I really don't even remember what happened, but all of a sudden there she was sitting in the chair. He said, like, he said some stuff, and he was like, you see her? And I said, yes, she's sitting right there. And he was like, this is amazing. I have worked with people for years that they can't do this in what you did in one session. Wow. And then he left me. And we actually never spoke again. And when I got into my meditation classes, my teacher that like really became my teacher, he said, that was really dangerous. I said, it was? He was like, yes. A ghost or a spirit could have attached you. You were way too open and drained all your energy. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. He was like, thank God your grandmother was there to save you. I said, thank God.
There so,
you go. Being psychic and having all of these abilities, and you tap into energy, it can be dangerous. So you have to know what you're doing. You can't just kind of play around with it. You need a teacher, you need guidance, you need classes. And I knew I needed that. So I went into it immediately.
How has your grandmother helped you? You said that you've always known that she was one of your guides. So for people that are just kind of dipping their toe into the spiritual journey, or just starting to wake up now, which there are so many that are joining us.
Oh, thank gosh. Oh, yay.
How do you connect with your guide, and how do you kind of start that communication, that trust?
I really, in the beginning, before that happened with her sitting in the chair, it was more of I would look at her picture and I just knew her. And I was like, I know you. And we look so much alike. I'll put it in the comments after this, how much we look alike. I mean, we look like twins, like sisters. I mean, we even have the same nail beds. Like in a picture, you can see the nail beds and we have the same nail beds. And I studied that picture that my Aunt Lorraine gave me. And it was just this like really deep connection. But how how you get in touch with your guides and your angels is you just ask. They're always there. You just have to ask them, I'm ready for this relationship. I want to have this connection with you. And it happens. It starts happening. How you can do it is through automatic writing, which is something I teach. And you have spirit right through you. And the first time I did that, whoa, did she have a lot to say, like 9 pages of saying things. Like it just came out immediately because my clairaudience, my psychic hearing is my highest gift. Everybody has a gift when you're intuitive, and one is just a little bit more than the other. Some people are more feeling, some people are more seeing. I happen to be more hearing. So I channel really easily, which I'm so grateful for. And that's why I was just really good at the angel cards immediately, because I could hear it so quickly, which was awesome. And so to connect with them also in a meditation, which is interesting because I am teaching about how to meet your spirit guide this Thursday night at 8:00 on Zoom. And that's my monthly meditation. It just happens to be Spirit Guide Month because I choose a different topic with the angels. They always tell me what to do and I listen every month. And I do a little slideshow and then we pair it with a meditation. So you're going to meet one or maybe more than one of your spirit guides, depending how open you are. So I could put that info in the comments too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Heart as a Compass. Listening to your story, a lot of people could have been really broken in that situation.
Oh, yes.
And you were able to turn that tragedy into a gift and look at it. That to me is the definition of heart as a compass. It's when you allow life to kind of unfold for you. But for people right now that might be going through their darkest hour, that might be struggling and trying to find their gift, how did you use your heart as a compass in that dark time for you?
I honestly just saw the positivity. And when I was in a wheelchair and a walker for 4 months, and I would be watching TV and people would be walking around, and I was just so grateful that that could be me again, because I knew I would walk again. It wasn't a question. It wasn't like, okay, and now you're paralyzed. Thank God. I knew I would. And it was like, I took it for granted, just walking. And I had to just stay positive. My friends would come over and they're like, how are you not in a deep, dark depression right now? And I said, well, what's the point of that? I just have to stay positive. Come on, let's go outside and go to the pool. Let's go tan. Like I had to stay positive. I moved back in with my parents, which was really hard because I had my own apartment for the first time ever. And then that was all gone. So I just took my heart, Paige, and I just let it be. And I am thankfully a very positive, happy-go-lucky person. Not to say that I haven't been in a depression a couple of times in my life, because I have. And so I understand that. And it's horrible. And I pray and I send light to everybody who was in that place. And I say to you, ask for help. Ask for help, because there's so much help available. So much. And people don't ask. And that's your heart when you're like really down. and something is telling you to get up. That's your heart. That's your spirit guide. That's your angel. That's whoever you believe in, God. Everybody is there pushing you forward, and you're like a brick wall.
Yeah.
Don't be the brick wall. Move forward. Use that momentum to get back into your life.
Yes.
And get help. Have a meditation teacher. Go get some Reiki. Have a massage. Let your body be open to that. Find a therapist if you need one.
Right.
A clinical therapist if you need one.
I was working with someone the other day, and they were saying something about thinking that what they wanted to do, going to a gym, spending money, was selfish. And we realized through a conversation that's self-care. And a lot of it's shifting the perspective of allowing yourself to grow and to feel and to be. And you know what I love about what you said, which I don't even know if you realized, you said you were so thankful to see those people walking because you knew that was going to be you. That's gratitude at its absolute best. And for me, gratitude is the language of the heart. And the fact that some people might have looked at those people walking and said, oh, I want to walk and my dreams are ruined. You looked at them and said, look how beautiful walking is. Look at me.
And that I took it for granted all my life, my 29 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's where gratitude.
You're making me cry, Paige.
The heart, though, because when we truly have gratitude, especially something we realized we took for granted, that gratitude is so deep. It's really life-changing. And that's the beauty of our life. Our life is not going to be a straight and narrow path. It's no matter how much we divine and plan and manifest and harvest our goals, things can change. And I bet the 19-year-old version of you never would have imagined that you would be sitting here talking about angel oracle cards and connection.
No, certainly not. And in New Hampshire, no less.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Why would I move to New Hampshire? Why would I move to Westchester? And that's where my soulmate lived. And I had to move to Westchester to be with my soulmate from Long Island. Why would I ever leave Long Island? Everybody was there. Everything was there. And it wasn't until I left Long Island that I really found myself. Now, and that is when.
What you to Westchester? Was there like a job, or was it just a yearning, like a random thought? What was it?
There was a party.
Okay.
A party that I was invited to by my friend who I went to London with. And she had a baby. She stayed in London and got married, and she had a baby, and she wanted all the American friends to meet the baby. And Liz, who is my wife now, she walked into this party and something shifted. Talk about a heart moment. It was like, boom. And she felt it too, because we're soulmates. And we happened to be at this party together. I knew I had to talk to her, so I did. And we had this connection, and she lived in Westchester, and we fell in love over the phone because we were about an hour and a half away. So it was hard to just get together. You know, it wasn't like, oh, let's go to the restaurant down the street. It was like a journey. We had our first date in Manhattan, and it was incredible. I never dated anybody again. And it goes back to that, you will know when you meet them. And I have been told that my whole life. And I was like, yeah, right. Where the heck is he? Because I always thought it would be a he. And here she is walking in and changed my whole life. Amazing. And then it was very, very quickly.
You could have just stayed home.
But I could have.
You could have.
I almost did, Paige. I almost stayed home, and I said, oh, she's coming over from England. I got to get to this party. When am I going to see this girl and meet this baby? okay, let's go. Because again, it was such a journey and I was going all by myself and I didn't know anybody at the party. And voila, I had to be there. And you know what? If I was still acting, if I was still waitressing, I wouldn't be able to be there. It all happened the same year. The same year.
Yep.
It was
So
amazing.
you were being led for sure. And sometimes that's hard to realize is that when things are struggling, when things don't feel like you're making place, that maybe that's a time to trust and surrender that there's a greater plan in action.
100%. Absolutely. And it was very quick. I moved in a year later. She proposed to me. We got married a year later. We had a baby 2 years later. We had a baby 2 years later. And then we moved to New Hampshire a year later. And what's amazing about that is every psychic that I went to when I was younger said that's exactly how it would happen. Very fast. Meet soulmate, boom, 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 boom. Everything. And it all happened.
Now, why New Hampshire? Let's ask that. We've brought up New Hampshire a few times. Why?
Why New Hampshire? Well, my wife went to school at New England College, and she always talk about her heart was always pulled back to New England, pulled back to New England. And I honestly would have liked to go somewhere warmer, but it is okay. And we went and we found this house in New Hampshire. We happened to be traveling through and we stopped at this house and she's like, I want to have that house. And I said, what? We live in New York. What are you talking about? And she said, no, we're going to have this house. We're going to move here. And I said, oh my gosh, what is going on? Now, at the same time, remember I said I listened to the angels. The same time, the angels had said to me, get out of New York, save the children. And I was like, what? Because I hear messages all day long. And I said, oh my, okay. And I told Liz and she's like, let's do it. And we kind of sat on it and things had to transpire and everything. And we tried to get this house. It didn't work out, but we stayed in New Hampshire. We talk about darkness and following your heart. Oh my gosh. We went through dark times together and we had no family and we really had no friends in New Hampshire too. And we did it. And we did it alone, a lot of it. And we moved 4 times in a year and a half. And it was finally when we found this temple location that we felt settled into our heart. And the kids went to this amazing school that was really tiny. And there were 48 kids from grades K through 4 in this school, which was weird because I had 20 kids in my class when we were growing up, at least 20, 25. And my son has 8 kids in the class. 8. And this is like otherworldly to me as like the city girl moving to the country. And what I realized is that these kids are country kids. I feel like they manifested it as well. They're very, very high souls. And I don't know if they could have hacked it in Westchester or Long Island, Paige. I really don't know. So I'm just so grateful that we're here. We went through the darkness. We came back into the light and we're so happy. And now think back to what the angels said to me, get out of New York, save the children. This was 2016. What happened 2020?
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
In New Hampshire, the pandemic was not like New York,
right?
Not like Long Island where my sisters are. I was floored. Everything the angels have ever told me has come true. Everything. Yeah. And that's why I just listen. Because my life is easier when I listen.
Amen to that. And you have a really beautiful business now. You do oils. Tell us a little bit about how you and your wife have kind of created this ground roots business here in New Hampshire that you weren't expecting to ever live in.
No. Well, we started it in New York, and it's a company called doTERRA, and we help people with essential oils to heal their lives, to better their lives, to have emotional and physical and even spiritual support to change your whole life with an essential oil. I mean, it's amazing. And so we paired it with my business to help people spiritually, but now also if, your foot hurts, well, we can help you with that too. And it was like this whole thing opened up, and very quickly we were, raising in the ranks of doTERRA and helping so many people. And that is our heart also. And doTERRA, if you don't know it, it is a light worker company, and that's what I love the most about it. They have this amazing charity foundation called Healing Hands, and they do amazing things all around the globe to help people. When there's tragedy, doTERRA comes in on the ground with workers and also with money because they're a debt-free company. And meeting all these people and our mentors, and so grateful for all of them that they've helped us along the way, because that we received a lot of help with. doTERRA is not a company where you're all alone, like an entrepreneur, like my business with connections with Elena. I was all alone, and then Liz came in and she absolutely helps me. But with doTERRA, I could call somebody right now that's not even in our organization at all, and they will help me immediately, because it's more of a family, which is so amazing. So we are again blessed to have two businesses that we're kind of on our own, and then we have this whole network of people that we can help and they can help us. It's such a beautiful, beautiful gift that we have. Very grateful.
Yeah, I love essential oils because they raise your frequency. It's such a nice subtle energy for people that are just starting to work with spirit guides and oracles. The oil frequencies automatically raises your vibration because the plant medicine just brings you right up there. So absolutely, that's a great resource to have. Definitely. Now, for the people that are listening to this, another thing that we like, so many people are waking up right now. So many people are going, I feel like I need to do something. I'm called to do something, but I don't know what it is. So it seems like a lot of what's happened for you and your wife, it seems that a lot of it fell into place. What advice do you have for people that are seeking, as I know you also do business connections. So what advice do you have for someone who's starting out and, trying to find their path right now?
Just, if you don't know what it is, try things. Try things. And if it doesn't feel right, stop doing it. The people that are waking up are older souls. If you're an older soul, you've kind of done everything. So it's like, okay, so you've done everything in your past lives. What are you supposed to do this life? How are you going to be that light worker in this world that we all need, and that earth angel, and help people? I mean, it could start very simply by opening a door for the person in front of you.
You never know. Yeah.
That's light working. It could be smiling at the person that looks really sad walking down the street or angry, and you're like, have a great day. And you could have changed their entire day. That's light working. It can be very small and very simple. Not every light worker, not every earth angel needs to open up a spiritual business. But there are so many things that you can do. I think about my friend in college, how she survived the World Trade Center. She worked at Windows on the World, and her alarm didn't go off that morning. She wasn't there. She went on to become an ER nurse. She's a light worker, and she didn't even know it. And she was supposed to be here to help. I don't even know how many millions of people she's helped now in the last 10 years. You know? You have to, and she was Broadway bound as well. We met at NYU, and she went for it.
And I love, it's just coming back
Amazing.
to, again, how we get so mad the alarm doesn't go off. We're running, we're racing. We cause all
Mhm.
panic, this, I fall into that. I'm getting better as I'm learning, meditating and really grounding myself. But I
Mhm.
remember
Mhm.
playing off the handle for an alarm not going off. You know, just absolutely the worst thing that can happen is you're late for XYZ. But
Yep.
really, that red light that comes up that you don't want when you're driving down the street might just save you from a car accident. That alarm that
Absolutely.
doesn't go off in the morning might just save you from something bigger that we don't understand. And so there comes, I think, when you start really kind of waking up to the connections of the universe, you start
Mhm.
trusting a lot more. Like when something bad happens, you go, all right, I'm going to get through this. Where's the gift? Where's the wisdom in it? And if you can,
Absolutely.
and that's what I do when things are really dark.
Mhm.
I try to look for that pearl of wisdom because
Yes.
even in those darkest hours, there's a pearl somewhere. And I might not see it for
Mhm.
10, 20 years, but
Yeah,
usually it's there. And it seems like you've
absolutely.
been finding those pearls naturally your whole life, which is one of the reasons why you're a soul worker here early to help others. I mean, those of us that have
Mhm.
been kind of on this path for a long time and kind of openly doing it for the last decade, you know, we're kind of like old hats. We're like, yeah, we've been doing this, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
but it is that we all help each other. And I always say that they're like, we're all on different layers of the path and we reach our hand back, we help the next person up because we're all on this together, helping each other.
Absolutely. I have so many meditation students that have gone on to have their own businesses now. So many. And I'm so happy for that as well. Because I did the same thing. I had my teachers, they had their business, and I learned what I was supposed to from them. And I went on to
Mhm.
do my business, and so on and so forth. And I hope that their students go on to do their business because we need more people like us. And it's never a competition for me. It's
Mhm.
never. There's always that person that you're supposed to connect with. And I'm not everybody's teacher, and that's okay because you should find your teacher. But when you have that calling that you need a teacher, don't deny it. Go
Oh.
for it. Find somebody. Try out people. I had a couple of teachers that didn't work out, and it was
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes you just get a small thing from one teacher and then you can move on. It's like
Exactly.
resonating. So you,
Hmm.
when we met, we were like, yeah, this is a person. This is good. And you'll know, I think people will know, like when you watch someone, when you read someone's email or when you meet someone,
Hmm.
you're going to know if you want to work with that person. You should never feel bullied or anything like that. You should be like, yes, this is who I want to be with.
Definitely.
And I bet
Yes.
that there are people watching this right now who go, I want to work with Elena. So tell us
Oh,
how they work
thank
with you.
you.
How can you?
Well, I usually start with an angel card reading to figure out what you need. And then through that reading, it's always a teaching reading for me, also, because I am primarily a teacher for sure. And what's really funny about that is when I was growing up, everybody said, you should be a teacher. You should be a teacher. You should be a teacher. And I said, no, I don't want to be a teacher. I don't want to teach acting. I want to do acting because I thought it would be acting. And here I am, a meditation teacher. I would have never thunk it, but here I am. So we start with an angel card reading. And through that reading, I sort of hear what you need for meditations that I pair with all of your learning. I don't really have a syllabus. I mostly teach people privately, except that one monthly group meditation class that I do the last Thursday of every month at 8 o'clock on Zoom. That's the group meditation. And then from there, it's sort of like I have sort of the 101 kind of meditations, protection, chakras, cord cutting. Let's get off all the junk that you don't need so you can move forward.
Yeah.
And also a mind clearing. And then we kind of go forward, meeting your spirit guides. Let's go up into outer space. Let's travel to Mercury. I do astral travel. And really, it's a very individualized and very special journey for each person. And if you come to me and you're more advanced at meditation, well, we'll go faster. And if you're brand new, then we'll hang out more with the breathing and the feeling of the energy and just getting you there slowly. So that's really how people start working with me. You just have to ask.
Not through Zoom, right? So anybody anywhere can work with you.
Everywhere.
Good.
Even
Good.
before the pandemic, my business was always anywhere, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah. Yeah. And the world it's so amazing that I've got friends that before all this, one of my best friends lives in Australia, and we used to have those little cards scratch off. We used to make dates maybe once every 2 or 3 years to talk on the phone because it was an ordeal. And now we can be like, hey, are you free? Like, hey, and we talk, and I'm always like, oh my God, it's so amazing that I could talk to someone across
I know. It is with like Facebook Messenger and chat and video. I could talk to I just did a couple days ago to my friend she lives in England. We met when I was doing my studies over there. Yep. And she was right there on the screen. And I'm like, this is amazing. You know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very blessed we are with technology.
Now, as we're moving through like this new world, there's a lot of talk about like new earth and things like that. Like what is your opinion about how we spread light as a humanity, as a collective?
We just have to do it. Honestly, so many of the messages that I've been channeling since I started channeling, so 2009, have been spread the light, do the work. We need you. The battle is coming. The battle is coming. This was in 2010, 2011, 2012. Then it was the battle is here. The battle is here. Now it's the battle is still on. We have to fight. And we have to fight. You have to fight for what you desire. What is it that you want for your life and for the rest of the world? Right now, my prayers are mostly focused on bringing peace to people's hearts. I'm like, okay, let's like go above and like stop the war, right? Like world peace. I feel that if we all pray for peace, for the hearts, for these people that are making the terrible decisions that they are making right now, well, then the war would stop. The chaos would stop, because if we're all in peace, how could there be war and chaos?
Because when you start your connections to everyone, it seems impossible that people would even fathom that. I agree with you completely. Yeah.
But I say, hey, why not? So when I brush my teeth, I pray. That's my praying time. When I brush my teeth, those 2 minutes.
Very nice.
That's how I get it in.
That's a good tip for you. So, and you are a very, I know you're a very active mom. I know that you and your wife do so much. So that's a great question. It's like, a lot of times I used to use this as an excuse, and now I see other people mirroring me that and saying that as well. I don't have time to sit and meditate all day. I don't have time to do what you do, because that's a luxury, meditating and praying and being spiritual. That's like a luxury. So and you're proving that wrong right now. You're saying brush your teeth.
So wrong.
You can find the time. So speak some more to that, because I feel like you've got some pearls of wisdom.
Well, I always tell people that meditation should be very simple. And I am very fortunate to be channeled these meditations that are so simple. It could take 5 minutes. That's all. And I always tell people, if you can't go into a deep meditation, as long as you're grounding and you're breathing with an oil or without an oil, you did it. Check for the day. Yep. And if you could go into a deeper meditation, great. And if you can't, Don't be hard on yourself about not doing it. That's the way you're going to, squash it right there anyway. The grounding technique that I have is 55 seconds because I have it on tape.
Well,
Like on
can
a,
you do it with
like
us now?
Yeah, let's do it. So everybody get your feet on the floor and always your hands up to receive the light. So you're going to put your hands in your lap. And if you do have an essential oil, so simple, either drop it or roll it on your hands, rub it in. Easily, essential oils for meditation. So simple. You breathe in through your nose, open up your hands, blow out of your mouth. That's meditative breathing. With the oil, you just enhanced it. I always tell people that if you don't have the oils, you could still ground and breathe. It's just the oils kind of kick it up a notch. That's all. It's not a big deal. So we ground and breathe. So feet on the floor, because when you cross, everything is uncrossed. When you cross, you're blocking energy. You want everything open to receive. So close your eyes. And we breathe in through our nose, out of your mouth. Just getting in touch with your breath. And you just start feeling your feet and your body and all of your beautiful energy gently, easily melting into the ground. And it's kind of like you're wading in water. And you feel those little tingles on the bottom of your feet. Slowly, gently bring those tingles, that grounding energy, up to your ankles, to your knees, slowly letting it rise through your whole body, up to your hips, and all the way through your chest and through your heart, and up to your shoulders, and all the way up to the top of your head. Let it go. There we go. And your whole body is now grounded, aligned, and centered. And Mother Earth is reaching up, placing your energy in her hands. She's always there for us, grounding, loving, protecting us. And you just take a deep breath in and out. And you're grounded. And you did that for your day. And then you can go into a meditation really quick or not. And you just kind of wiggle out of it. So you wiggle your fingers, toes, hips, shoulders, head, and open your eyes, and you're back. That's it.
Yes, exactly. And it's that connection to breath that is so important. It's like back to the gratitude, something we don't think about, right? Every breath is a blessing. And when we can consciously breathe with at any time, no matter what it is, wherever it is, if we can consciously breathe and connecting that, and then if you just connect that breath somehow to your body, 55 seconds, that was beautiful. That was perfect. Exactly.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. And then I have really quick meditations. I mean, I've even been putting myself to sleep with a meditation, and I just see feathers coming down. Instead of counting sheep, I count feathers. And they're just rainbow feathers, and they just come down, and I just say, ooh, red and yellow and purple and what? And I'm just like, whoosh, gone. That's a meditation.
Yes.
Meditation is really simple. It's the definition of it is quieting your mind so you can listen to your heart. That's it. Because when your mind is quiet, then everything in your heart gets louder. And that's why it's a healing. Every time you meditate, it's a healing. Every time you have an angel card reading, it's a healing.
Absolutely.
It's really that simple. You just have to let it happen.
Now, a lot of times people kind of feel like they can't, choices are hard. Like they feel like they sometimes need to have someone tell them what to do. What's your advice on that in terms of like, if we're looking at following your heart as a compass versus, getting advice from other people and doing a million other things? Like a lot of times we take too much stock on what someone else has said versus our own inner knowing and guidance. So how do we work on that?
I would say a lot of the breathing, a lot of the grounding. If you're grounded, Like, how different do you feel right now? So
Oh,
clear,
mm-hmm,
so open,
mm-hmm.
and you can make a good decision. You know, if there's a lot of chaos going on and you can't make a decision, step yourself out of it and look at it now from outside
Mm-hmm.
and see all of the possibilities. Make lists, make a pro and cons list. You know, if you're more of a list person, do that. Go for a walk without your phone. Imagine that. Go for a walk without your phone and just let nature heal you, and ask for help from heaven, not just earth, from heaven. Angels, I have this huge decision to make. Thank you for helping me decide in the best, highest white light good of all, for
Mm-hmm.
my heart, for my family, for my business, for my job, for my life.
Yes.
And they will lead you to it. And then you just have to be open to see the answer. It may not come in like, you know, hearing like me. Okay. But maybe there's a bird, and that bird leads you to, like, that's the logo of the company that you're supposed to work with. It's got to be really simple, because if you can't hear the messages, they're going to send it to you. Someone's going to say something to you, because when we can't hear the messages from them, they send people to give it to us, and they'll be whispering in their ear to give it to us. You ever have somebody tell you something that is so out of their character and it's exactly what you needed to hear?
Oh, yeah.
That is heaven talking through that person for you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a big deal. It takes a lot of energy for them to do that, for them to put a penny at your feet to tell you that your grandmother's there with you. Your
Mm-hmm.
grandmother's soul had to use a lot of energy to get that penny there, to give
Yep.
you that message, to
Yep.
help you just say, I'm here, keep going. It's going to be okay. And it's
When
hard. It's
and
really
when you
hard.
you'll be more open to noticing those. So many, like I went through a phase where I was really open, and then you kind of close down how it is. And I remember that I was seeing signs all the time, but I wasn't noticing them, or I wasn't believing them for a long time. And it took me a while to kind of open back up to the ways that our spirit guides work with us is different for everyone. And you can even set up, I've noticed you can even set up your own parameters with your spirit guides of what you want to see and how you want to communicate with them. Like,
Yes.
I have a fun game with my guides right now, with cars. Different colored cars that we see mean different things. And I started telling to my kids, so now it's a game, and if we see a green car, it means abundance. So everyone in the car goes, green car.
That's amazing.
You would be amazed at how many. I went from seeing no green cars ever to now I see like 5 a day. It's like,
I love it.
And so you can, and then like, especially you've got such a playful spirit. I think that messages come to you in playful and fun ways too, right? It doesn't always have to be so serious.
Oh, it's actually never serious. It's like, it's always in this most beautiful, exciting way. It's exciting to receive a message or a sign. And people always get excited, and then they deny it. Well, maybe not. I was reading this book early on in my studies, and it was how to receive signs in like this really simple way. And it was so easy. And you have to be very specific and even give a timeline to it and the exact object that you want to see to say that this is a yes. So I did it, right? And I said, okay, if this is a yes, I will see flowers by 5 o'clock tonight. immediately I was babysitting my niece at my sister's house. And for the first time ever, and I had been babysitting this kid for like 2 years, for the first time ever, I noticed that there were flowers on her wall. It was this huge painting, and I never saw it before for whatever reason. I was like, oh, that's been there forever. That's not a sign. We're watching TV. There's flowers on the table in the show. That's in the show. That's not a sign. What it's still, I'm still waiting, guys. I mean, what did I want? And then finally I was like, Elena, or someone said to me, Elena, this is it. This is a yes. You saw flowers again and again, like there were flowers on the top or whatever it was. And I was like, what am I expecting? A guy to come to the house, flowers for Elena? You know, it's not gonna happen like that. Exactly. It's very simple. You ask for a cardinal. Well, if you see a cardinal on the stamp that you got on your letter that day, that's the cardinal. It might not fly near your window, but it's that open. And when you can be that open, then you have it. But be very specific and you'll get it. It's like a game for them. Yeah. It's a game for them. They're like, ooh, we get to help people, because this is an amazing lesson right here. They cannot ask you, they cannot help you until you ask for help. It is in our biggest human lesson to ask for help and then accept it. Actually receive it. Huge, because we're independent. I got it. I'm good. How many times a day you hear people say, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. You're not good. Ask for help. And they can't help you until you ask. So when you ask, they're like, yes, they did it. Yep. And now they're going. That energy is moving and flowing, and they're so excited to help you. Right. And never feel that you are burdening them. Oh, God doesn't have enough time. There's so much to do in the world. Wrong. God and the angels and all of your loved ones in heavens and all of your spirit guides and even your fairies, they have plenty of time for you. They have plenty of time for all of us. The archangels are there for everyone all at the same time. You are never burdening them. Oh, I can't stand when people say that. No, I can't pray for myself. They're too busy. No, you have to pray for yourself. Well, I pray for everybody else. Well, who's praying for you? Pray for yourself. It's okay. It's not selfish. No. It's needed. Yes. You need it.
Right. It's self-care, self-love, loving yourself and to feel worthy of that love, because there's so much love for us out there. And so many of us feel tired and sad and alone and unloved when there's no need for that. We are so loved.
Or you don't deserve it.
That's a big one.
I'm not good enough. Yes, you are. Find that self-love. That's the green heart chakra, since we're talking about the heart, right? Yes. What is self-love? My teacher told us about the chakras, and he said, okay, and green is self-love. And then he moved on to blue. And I was like, wait a second. So I was like, what is green? And it's self-love, loving yourself, honoring yourself, being kind to yourself, going easy on yourself, trusting yourself, and believing in yourself. Yeah. That's what the angels channeled to me. That's self-love, because I didn't get a definition of it. And I'm a really good student, so I needed more information. And that's it. And then the pink is the unconditional love. And I always say unconditional love, like when pink sparkles come down in the meditation. Oh, it feels so good. This is the way your angels love you. This is the way they want you to love yourself. And only accept love from others that is unconditional love. And that's hard because it's human. It's human to not love yourself. It's human to put yourself down. It's human to talk bad about each other behind our backs. That's all human. That's not soul. That's human. And the further you get away from human, the more the whole world opens up for you. It's
Yeah.
waiting for you. You
Yeah.
just have to step into it and say yes and take a leap.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you came on this, and we had this beautiful talking show. I hope everyone feels that energy. I feel the pink sparkles as you're talking about it. I feel it. As we're getting to our last 5 minutes, if you had one bit of advice for someone who is watching this today, what would it be?
Move forward. Stop choosing the fear. Choose the love. The love might be harder. It is always harder to choose love. It's always harder to choose to go exercise and I'm just going to sit on the couch. The love is that choice to get outside. The fear is sitting on the couch, very simply. Choose love and move your life forward and get the help that you need. It's so available. You just have to accept it.
We are going to post so many links for how people can get in touch with you, how they can work with you. Gave us that beautiful gift of grounding. So we thank you so much for that. Is there, as people, it's just so that way they have it on the recording, kind of list your website, how they can get in touch with you. Make sure we get that out there.
Yeah, so it's Connections with Elena, ELENA.com. My cell phone is very available. That's why, I love to text. Text me anytime, 631-680-0957. That's it. And I don't love email. I'll be really clear about that. So if you email me, it might take a little longer, but a text, whoops. And I'm happy to be friends with anybody also. Friend me. My Facebook page is Connections with Elena. And then on Instagram, I'm Connected Elena because I'm clever.
And you and your things on there all the time. So people should follow you.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, good. Well, this has been such a beautiful experience to have you with us today. For those of you that are watching both now and in the replay, thank you for joining us for Heart as a Compass Radio, and Motivation Monday is what I'm trying to call it. Are off next week because of Memorial Day, but I do have a guest coming in on Tuesday and another guest coming next Monday on June 6th. So we have Elaine Susie from Life Path Fellowship in Jaffrey next Tuesday. And then the week after that, on Monday, we have Julie Gauthier. So we have people lining up. If you'd like to be on the show or if you have anything to add, please get in touch with me. My name is Paige Lucier Johnson. And for those of you that are listening, remember to use your heart as a compass, to remember that you are an intuitive, beautiful soul. And we are so happy to have you here on this earth. And share your story, talk to friends, make connections. And we wish you most blessings in everything in life. Thank you for watching our show. Thank you for being on this show. Thank you for spending your time with us.
Thank you.
It's been an honor. I love everyone. Have a beautiful and blessed day. We're signing off.